Good morning. And happy 2026 to you. I haven't had a chance to say that to you yet. Welcome to Decorah UCC. My name's Adam Campbell. I'm the worship leader here, and welcome to Garage Sale Sunday. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a large collection of things back there on the table, and several industrious members of the congregation decided to clean out the choir loft this week. Excellent. Thank you so much to whoever was a part of that. And I'm sure there'll be an announcement about that at some point, but just wanted to say that this is a part of the body of which we are, people working together to create this space on a daily and weekly basis. And given that, I invite you all into a moment of stillness today so that we can prepare our hearts and minds for worship together. And as we gather together today, we remind ourselves of the example of Jesus who welcomed everyone to his table without exception. God's doors are open to all, and we welcome each and every one of you to the worship and the fellowship of this congregation. And specifically, whether you're young or old or anywhere between, whatever your history or background, whether your faith is an old friend or you're filled with doubt or confusion or questions, whatever your sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, whatever your color, culture, or nationality, size and shape of your family, and whether you're right here or joining us online, you're all welcome here. So let us gather together to worship and celebrate life together today. Let's begin with a song. Benj?
Good morning, everyone, and let's all rise in body or in spirit as we join together in our opening hymn this morning, which can be found as an insert in your bulletin, Gather Us In. I did forget to take note. We will sing in verses 1, 2, and 4.
peace of God be amongst you all. I invite you to show signs of that peace amongst you now. And as you find your seats, I invite the young and the youthful at heart and the kids to come on up to the front to join me for the children's sermon today. And after the sermon, the kids will head on downstairs with Malika. Hi. How's it going today? I know I might be a little bit late in asking this question, but how was your Christmas, everyone? Was it good? Was it really good? Really good? Did you get something you're excited about? Oh, you.
I got what Francis got right there, a Scruffalough.
Oh, you got the Scruffalough, the thing you were trying to tell me about a while ago. Can you stand up and just hold it up for everyone so that they can see? A Scruffalough Christmas, everyone. Oh my gosh, I want one now too. Oh, geez. You can just stay there if you want. Keep holding. Oh, no, okay. So, great. And I have a question for you. Can you think of something that you and your family do for Christmas that might be unique to your Christmas? Something that maybe other families don't do? Can you think of anything? Oh, okay. Let's do you and then you, okay?
A picture.
A picture. Do you mean that all of you take a picture together? Oh, great. Yeah, my family doesn't do that, and we probably should. So thanks for that idea. Okay, you'll take a picture together.
We do Christmas unicorn.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me what that is, please.
So there's a big wreath and it's like covered in random stuff, and we hang it on the door, and then we put it on the table on the night, and we put lots of random food, and then the Christmas unicorn comes and it gives art supplies.
Why does my Christmas suddenly seem really boring? Wow, what a great example. And I want to tell you one story about the Christmas that I grew up in with my family. Have you ever noticed that sometimes parents don't like you leaving things lying around the house? Isn't that kind of annoying? Yeah, well, my mom, when I was growing up, really didn't like these little popsicle wrappers that would end up lying around the house. Do you know these popsicles are kind of long and skinny, and you can kind of cut the top off and they're like purple or orange? Anyway, these were the popsicles we had. Mom didn't like the fact that my sister and I, and also my dad, by the way, would leave them kind of lying around the house. So one year, we got the idea that we would gather them up all year long, and then at Christmas, inside one of the presents was all the wrappers from the whole year. Don't worry, she got other presents too, but it was really funny. And we had so much fun doing this, we decided we'd do it again the next year and surprise her again. And we've been doing that for 20 years. And every year we surprise her. We're still amazed it happens. I don't think she's faking it. I think she's really surprised every year. So this has become one of our traditions in my family. You have the unicorn, you have the picture. Each one of us kind of forms these traditions inside of our families, right? That we kind of form us, but we help form it, right? So even though each one of you is an individual with your own ideas and your own expressions, you're also a part of something greater than yourself, your family, that grows and changes over time, and you help form it, and it forms you, right? Now, I want you to think of one more thing. I want you to stand up for a second. All of you go ahead and stand up. Go ahead. I'll stand up with you. Now, look out over here. I want you to just everyone go ahead and wave to all these people. Yeah, look, see, they're all waving back. You see that? They're all paying attention to you, right? And you're kind of sometimes paying attention to them. You're a part of something greater than yourself by coming here. All of these people are a part of what Paul in the Bible would say a body. We're one body, together, just like your family. This is another form of family, a little different, but we have our own traditions. We do certain things on Sunday, right? And you help form it, and they help form you. And so these people can help in a time of trouble or confusion or joy. We're all here to help share that together. Isn't that great? Paul thought this was really important. And so this is a reminder that you're a part of something greater than yourself, and that's a sacred thing. So let's take a moment to pray and give gratitude for that. Okay? Go ahead and keep standing. We'll be short. Dear God, thanks for the experience of being a part of something greater than myself. May I feed it, and it feed me. Amen. There was almost a collision on the way out. And now we have the opportunity to be a part of this body that shapes us, and we shape it by sharing in our joys and concerns together. So I invite you all to take a breath and think about, where are you right now in this moment? Where's your heart? What's on your mind? What would you like to share with us in the form of a prayer so that all of us can pray with that and hold it together? After I give a brief summary of each prayer, we'll have a sung response.
And our song response will be, God of mercy, hold us in love. I'll sing it once through, and then I'll have you all join me. God of mercy, hold us in love. God of mercy, hold us in love.
And so what shall we pray for today, my friends?
Your comments are very consistent with this week and all of the tragic events that occurred. I was struck by the poem, For Whom the Bell Tolls, about each person's death diminishing each of us. So I think we all feel sadness at this point in time, and hopefully we can learn and grow and find justice and a way to love each other.
Finding a way to love each other in time of grief.
For prayers for one of my colleagues whose father's just gone into hospice. Just to hold that family in your thoughts and prayers, and as they go through this transition in their family.
For families in the midst of death and transition.
I'm aware that a third of the faculty and student body at Luther College are now traveling. And with the world being a bit uncertain right now, I pray for safe and meaningful travel as they go. As ambassadors of peace.
For being ambassadors of peace.
those who could not be with us today.
I pray that I learn what forgiveness means and that God really does forgive me and that I can accept it.
Accepting forgiveness.
Kind of in a reflection of what you presented too, was that as I was reading yesterday, I read about perception and how you look at things, and that there's time that you have to look from a positive. And I know there's a lot of the people in this town that don't like deer, but I happened to look out my window and it was young deer just having this race in this yard out by where I live, and they'd go back and forth and back and forth and jumping and just so enthusiastic. And there were adult deers there too, but it was a lot. I'm guessing close to 24. But it was just to sit there and know that I have no clue, but that was a perception that I saw in the afternoon that gave me some joy.
To joy and changed perception. Any other prayers today? Well, then I invite you all to pray with me now. O great mysterious force and presence of wisdom and compassion. Times are uncertain. Maybe times are always uncertain, but there are certain moments when we're reminded of how little control we have and how big the world can be. There's people who passed on from this life this past week, some of which we know and some of which we do not. And there was a new life also born this week, many of which we don't know about. New loves, new relationships. But also turbulence and catastrophe and strange things that we don't understand. And that fills our heart with so much. And so we pause right now to give gratitude, to have a place to come to share those things, many of which we can't comprehend. Sometimes we don't know what to do, but at least we can be here in concert, in congregation together, to pray and hold it and to be held by a presence much larger than us. We invite in now the comfort of your love and understanding. We also invite in now your disturbance to shake us out of our comfort when it's appropriate, to take right and justful action when it's needed. To learn how to forgive and to receive forgiveness. And to learn how to be an example of love today, in this time. And of course, only a small fraction of the prayers alive in our heart were spoken aloud today. So we acknowledge the unspoken ones, even the ones that haven't formed words in our own mind or heart yet, but are there nonetheless. We hold them all up with the gratitude that all of that and more is held. And then we say together, in the words taught by Jesus to us so many years ago, that prayer, and we invite you to say it in the words that are meaningful to you. O God, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
I invite you all to join me in singing our invitation to listen, found as an insert in your bulletin, Lead Me, Lord.
Good morning. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 15 through 27. Now, if the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has placed the parts in the body, every one of them, just as God wanted them to be. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you, and the head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable, and the parts that we think are less honorable we treat with special honor. And the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty, while our presentable parts need no special treatment. But God has put the body together, giving greater honor to the parts that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. Now you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it.
Good morning. I was in the library yesterday, and a good friend of mine, who I think of as kind of one of the old timers in this community in a good way, one of the folks who came here from the mid-'60s to the mid-'80s as part of that Back to the Land movement to imagine living in a different way, in a new way, to begin to create what we now think of as Decorah in this time. He came over, said hi, and I said, what do you have there? He had something in his hand. And he held up Gandhi, the movie. And I said, oh, interesting choice. And he said, it's about time for it, don't you think? And I knew exactly what he meant. It's been a strange week, hasn't it? Just from last Sunday to this Sunday, not to tell you everything you already know, but we invaded Venezuela? That's really apropos of nothing, it seems. We're making threats to Greenland, and then, of course, the fatal ice shooting of Renee Good. And I don't say those flippantly, but it's just to remind us that the winds of empire seem to be picking up sometimes. And Gandhi seems to be a good reminder of strange and wonderful things are possible even in the midst of terrible times. But you know, I'm a student of Gandhi, and I had a couple funny thoughts as I saw this person holding the movie Gandhi. The first one was, this friend of mine is a relatively devout atheist and would never probably set foot in here. And of course, Gandhi was a devout Hindu, a very religious man. Every morning, Gandhi would read the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, but also, every morning, Gandhi would read the Sermon on the Mount. He thought Christ was a pretty cool dude. In fact, he said, I love your Christ. I don't so much like your Christians, being the subject of Empire of a Christian Nation. And someone else similarly said, I think Christianity is a great idea. I think somebody besides Jesus should try it out. So, I think it's kind of funny that the roots of what Gandhi created were in the day-to-day devotion to a set of teachings that he considered wise, powerful, and perhaps impossible to embody, but worth a shot. The second thing that I thought in that moment was, I'm not sure that this person is aware that before the Salt March, which is what historians consider to be the turning point of India's movement towards freedom, also known as the Salt Satyagraha, Gandhi and a group of people had lived together for 15 years, practicing every day the teachings of the Gita and the Sermon on the Mount to begin to learn how to embody the impossible teachings of love made real on this planet. 15 years they prepared before they began their march, together, working on discipline and working to figure out, how do we do this? And Gene Sharp, who's a student of Gandhi, pointed out that Gandhi thought that there was 3 realms of action that were very important, and he ranked them. Gandhi felt the most important thing was personal transformation, How do we embody love in all of its forms and facets? How do we embody truth? The second was the constructive program. How do we build the world that we want to see today? How do we build the new heaven and the new earth together? And the third thing, the least important thing, but important, was political action and engagement with love. How do we engage our adversary with love? Now, I want you to think about this for a second. In the West, don't we often kind of invert this? Think about something you saw in the media anytime in the past while that kind of upset you. It's probably, unfortunately, not hard to do. After the emotional response of grief or anger, was maybe one of your first thoughts was, we need to do something about this. I need to do something about this. What are we going to do about this? Gandhi would say, you're starting in the wrong place. That's number 3. That's the third most important thing. Right? And then maybe here in the West, if we really dig into it, we might start thinking, okay, well, how could we build this community here, right now, to be an example of something that's removed itself from the violence of empire to embody something different? And we're working on that together. I think there's a lot of that happening in this church right now. There's a lot of people engaged in that work, and that's great, but that's number 2, right? That's second tier. Gandhi would say the first most important thing is every day, in every moment, are you doing the practice to transform yourself into the embodiment of love that Jesus modeled for us? Impossible though it is, how are you doing with that? How are you, every morning, are you preparing yourself to enter the day with whatever it's going to throw at you and do your best to respond as an example of something different than what we're seeing in the media? Now, something new in the new year, some of you might know this. I'm taking a UCC History and Polity course because it turns out I don't know much about the UCC. I'm learning about it. My first assignment this week was to learn more about this congregation. That was the assignment, learn about your local congregation. Well, immediately, I must say, I had a lot of gratitude for Dwayne Finsterman and Marilyn Holland and the folks who gathered the Green Bible of this church together. Just want to give another shout out. Thank you, Dwayne. If information was density, this would be a black hole right here. It is incredible. 611 pages of like 8-point type crammed in here. So it was very easy to find out that in 1851, A.M. Eastman, one of the first 2 ministers to come to the area in the same month, came here and in a log tavern started monthly meetings with the Day family, who had settled here in 1849, one of the first European settlers in this area. And in 1858, this piece of land was bought. And in 1861, the first doors of the church opened. This is actually the second church, but the first church opened right here. That's 170 years ago. A.M. Eastman arrived 175 years ago, when this was just beginning to be named Winneshiek and Decorah. What a legacy to be a part of. All of us right now, here in this room, are part of a body of over 6 generations of people who have been coming to this spot, right here, and trying to figure out, how do we do this? How do we love our enemies? How do we forgive 70 times 7 times? How do we overturn the tables of empire when they have invaded sacred space? How do we do that? And what's interesting about the UCC is that it invites a unique response. It says, this church right here,
Totally different from a church in Cresco or All Wine or the Bay Area. Totally different. Each one of you makes this place a unique place. And God is still speaking to us right now. God didn't stop speaking 2,000 years ago or 4,000 years ago or right now. God is still speaking to us. And we can offer an authentic response founded in love in this congregation, unique as it is, today. We don't have to follow what A.M. Eastman did 175 years ago. We don't have to follow whoever the founders of the UCC were in 1957. I find that out next week. We're allowed, encouraged, in fact, to be who we are. Each one of you, a member of this body, all of us together, part of a broader body. And we're invited to say, how do we do this today, this week? How do we do this? I don't know, but maybe we, as a collective, can figure it out. That's the great invitation, right? Now, last week, Melissa Bills was here for Epiphany. She had star words for each one of you, the idea that there's a theme guiding each one of you this week, this year. I've talked to some of you. Some of you like your star words. Some of you do not like your star words. This is part of the fun, right? There's a theme that you get to wrestle with, and it's going to wrestle with you this year. And it's going to bring out things from inside of you that you didn't know were there. I actually love this time of year because it's full of potential. Anything can happen. It's like when you're starting a garden. Anything can happen. I'm going to grow literally a ton of squash this year. I'm going to have 6-foot-tall kale. Anything can happen. Some of those things don't happen, but in the beginning it could. And that's exciting, right? And so right now we're thinking, who could I be at the end of this year? What awesome things could I do this year? Who could I be 7 years from now? Right? This is that time, naturally, to think about it, and resolutions come out of this and all that jazz. But let me also suggest that, though I do love that kind of discussion, this culture skews towards the individual, right? So it's natural that this culture will have you thinking, well, how awesome could I be at the end of this year? What awesome things could I do this year? And it can lead you away from thinking about the collective. What could we do this year? What kinds of things could we do as a body that I could not do as an individual? How can we leverage this group of people to do something no one's seen before? In Buddhism, there's what's called the 3 jewels, the core of the tradition around which the whole thing revolves. The first one is the Buddha. The second is the Dharma, or the way of the teachings. And the third is the Sangha, the spiritual community. Everything rests on those 3 things. Don't we have the same thing here? We have Jesus. We have the scriptures and the way of the scriptures and the teachings. And we have the body, the collection of people, the spiritual community, in which we practice and strive and try and reimagine over and over again. How do we do this in this time, in this age, with what we're seeing? Not just what's my response, but what's our response? And what's my practice to deepen in love and forgiveness? How do I do this? Dale Kittleson, a builder in town who probably all of you know, reminds me that dreaming's free. The next part of the building process gets expensive, but in the beginning, dreaming's free, so do as much of it as you can. This is that time. We're in the dreaming time, right now of the year. And as many of you know, in a couple weeks, we're going to have our annual meeting here for this church. That's a time when we come together and think about where have we been in the past year? How does that fit into a relationship of the past 175 years? And given that, where are we going next? Who are we now? Where do we go? Now, before I came to Decorah, I was part of a land-based education center. And we would spend all February visioning. All of February. Land chores, meeting, lunch, meeting, dinner, land chores. All February. Who are we? What teachings do we believe in? How do we embody those teachings? How do we give each other feedback and support in living into those teachings? How do we share those teachings with others who may not know those teachings? How do we invite other people to experience what we're doing here? How do we surprise ourselves and challenge ourselves in new ways of living into this? This church spends about 30 minutes doing that. A little chunk of the annual meeting, right? Kind of like between the video from 2025 and the budget, it's kind of crammed in this little, hey, let's think about something real quick. I'd like to invite something a little bit bigger than that. Don't you think A.M. Eastman would be quite surprised to walk in through those doors and see this happening? I think he'd be surprised for two reasons. One, wow, this is still happening? Thanks. And also, what are you guys doing? This isn't what we were doing 175 years ago. This liturgy, what we do here on Sunday, is totally different. Your theology, your relationship to this mystery that we call God is quite different. We're part of a dynamic stream of tradition and transition. We come every Sunday to figure this thing out, but we change. We change. And the invitation is, who are we now? What could we be now? So my homework for you this week is to pray and discern about this a little bit. What could we become with a little imagination, some creativity, and a little grit? How could we live into these teachings now? What's something that could surprise us? Who are we going to be 20 years from now? Who could we be? And I just want to give you one example to expand your thinking a little bit. Because naturally, someone's going to say, well, what about adult education classes? Wouldn't that be nice? Of course that'd be nice. That's great to put on the list. But what about 7 years, 5 years from now? I used to live in Harrisonburg, Virginia, which is a big Mennonite community. Well, I didn't know anything about the Mennonites when I moved there. So I thought, well, I'll go to a church service and find out. So I went to their main church in downtown Harrisonburg, about 250 members of the congregation. There was a greeting, then we stood up to sing the first hymn. Number 174 in the hymnal. We all started. There was no direction up front. The music started. We all started singing, and then I stopped. Because every single person in the congregation was singing in 4-part harmony. I'd never experienced anything like that before. I mean, I didn't want to sing to ruin it, but I also wanted to just let it soak in. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I've had in a church. It was amazing. Now think about this. Seriously. We could do that. We could. It doesn't mean we should do it, and it doesn't mean we will do it, but we could do it. Wouldn't that be cool? Even if we decided we wanted to do it, we probably wouldn't get it done by the end of this year, but 5 years from now we could. Especially with that guy right there. But do you see what I mean? If you only take 30 minutes out of the year, you're not going to get there. We have to think a little bit bigger. We have to challenge ourselves a little bit, and we have to be willing to fail at exciting and dangerous ideas to keep this thing alive. In the middle of tradition, the invitation is to keep this thing alive. A real, living, dangerous thing, because Jesus was as dangerous as they came. Martin Luther King was known as an enemy of the state. So invite the imagination of who the holy we could be, because you're a part of something greater than yourself by coming here, and that's a sacred thing. Amen.
I invite you all to join me in singing our response hymn that can be found as an insert in your bulletin, We Are Many Parts.
reflection, to consider not just how could I, each one of you, be that embodiment of love today and this year, but how could we, as a whole body, show up as a force for love in this community and in the world. I invite you into a time of prayer and reflection. I invite you into prayer now. O great presence of love and compassion, may all that has been said and heard and shared here open our hearts so that we may live in to the way that you have shown is possible for us. Amen. And now time for a few announcements. First of all, you're all invited right after this to come downstairs for a time of fellowship, snacks, coffee, and camaraderie. Please don't miss it. Come on downstairs. Next week, I'll be offering the reflection. And 2 weeks from now, there will be New Member Sunday. So for those of you who have been coming but are not yet members and thought, hey, maybe I should be a part of this body in a slightly more official way, like me, you can come join me up here in 2 weeks and join the church. And that'll be a shortened service, because right after that, we'll go downstairs and have our already mentioned annual meeting. Also, don't miss that. So that's the next 2 weeks. What else is there? Any other announcements?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the great Choir Loft garage sale bonanza that you'll see back here on the tables, okay? Just a little bit of history. 3 years ago, there were some of us that cleaned out the choir loft. And what you may not know, it is really the dumping ground for anything that nobody knows what to do with, okay? So there were some other So now we went through it, and it was incredibly dirty. Sarissa really wanted to vacuum, and there was no way that she could do that, okay? Some of us have gone through things that we have no clue where they came from. We don't know the purpose. There could be a purpose, and it could be that some of these things are very dear to you guys. Please take them or let someone know what the purpose is so that they can be appropriately appropriated. But otherwise, feel free to take them. Otherwise, in a couple weeks, it's all going to disappear. So, if you have questions, I guess you can ask me, and I probably won't know the answer, but you can ask me.
Just a reminder to look at the board that's listing for the different types of things you can donate to the service. Sign up for January. Secondly, been requested to be able to update the website and also update the listing of members, which will take a long time. I've requested Karen Wise to assist. But we'll start doing some of that. But if you have changed an address or if you have a different telephone number, you can let me know by email or just get a hold of me. We'll note it so that we can get something that's more up to date. Thank you.
So on New Member Sunday, there's a soup meal, right? Is that right? Is that potluck? That's my question.
Yes, on the last Sunday, which is Membership Sunday and the annual meeting, because we're having the annual meeting right after the worship service, there will be a soup lunch. The soups, 3 different kinds of soup will be provided by the fellowship team. And then members who want to bring either salad or bread are certainly welcome to do so. And desserts won't be needed because we're going to do something simple to try to make sure that the soup lunch is fairly short so we can spend time at the annual meeting. So we'll have something sweet on the table. So, and there will be more information about that in the newsletter. But yes, there will be a soup lunch.
Okay, any other questions or announcements?
Adam, I have a quick one.
Tim.
Since you mentioned it in your reflection this morning, and we may have some people in here who have always been curious about those altar cloths, and why is there either an apostrophe or a comma on those 2 altar cloths up there? And you directly referenced it in your reflection this morning. So I'm just thinking there's a quick opportunity to explain it, just really briefly. The UCC, the national denomination of the UCC, had its marketing phrase for a long period of time earlier in this century was "God is still speaking," and the complete line was "Never place a period where God has placed a comma. God is still speaking." That's what the commas are on the altar cloth to represent. And if I'm not mistaken, Onita Moore crafted all of those altar cloths we're enjoying every Sunday. So that's all I wanted to say. There you go.
Thank you. And that would make an incredibly long run-on sentence, by the way. It's just comma, comma, comma for many, many thousands of years. But anyway, that's the English side of me coming out. 2 more quick announcements. One, I will be downstairs at a table right now. For any folks who are thinking about new members, what does that mean? Questions. I'll be down there at a new member table, potential new member table, to talk to anyone who wants to talk about that. So if you're curious, find me. I'll be in the corner in the back table in the back corner. Other quick announcement. Some people have said to me, hey, you know, there should be something on the bulletin where you can like give if you don't want to put money in the plates in the back, or if you want to make a kind of donation. And they were surprised to find out that there is one already there. It's just maybe blended in and no one's ever really noticed it, but there is a QR code on the back of the bulletin for folks who might want to donate by their smartphone or whatever those things are that do that. I don't have one, but that's there. So if you want to make a donation to this church and its missions, You can do it on the plate or on this thing on the back. Thank you so much. Are we ready? Benj?
And let us all rise and turn to face each other across the center aisle as we sing each other out. And we'll sing each other out with Dona Nobis Pacem. You can find the words and text in an insert in your bulletin for that.
May the road rise to meet you this week as you experience being part of something greater than yourself in so many different ways. Amen. And Jessica is playing a different postlude than is printed in the bulletin, but it's something familiar to all of you.